Hi there, I'm Dots, and I'll be presenting on modern printing methods, specifically on desktop publishing. This follows Miss Lou's report on offset lithography and the printing process. With that, I'll be bridging things into more modern processes in printing. This will be another simple report that I've prepared, and I hope you learn a thing or two from this report. You'll be able to get an overview of what desktop publishing is, tools you'll need to get started, terminologies, pros and cons, and real world examples. Let's get straight to it. Now, unlike traditional publishing and printing methods, desktop publishing enables you to cut the layout process shorter through digital means. Through desktop publishing, the processes from typesetting up to the final printing process may be completely digitized, rather. With desktop publishing, what you see is what you get. This saves teams several resources, such as time, labor, and cost, as editors and writers can still liaise on content revisions and final checks. And with desktop publishing, you can experiment with various textiles, graphics, imagery, and layouts. So, what will you need to get started with desktop publishing? I had to deviate from the textbook to give you guys a more timely discussion on what you'll need when tasked with desktop publishing, and I hope it helps. And as you see on your screen, first and foremost, you'll need a compatible desktop or laptop computer. I've put an emphasis on compatibility, as we'd want to make sure that whatever software or program we'll be inclined to use to create materials for communities to read, it will be done with the best assets available. Now, do note, while many devices nowadays are capable of browsing the internet and processing multiple tasks at once, most publishing programs would require specific computer parts or hardware and programs or software. For the program to work without compromising your working device, the last thing that we want is our device to go haywire. Publishing software. As you've seen here, I've prepared a small timeline for your reference. These are some of the available publishing programs in the market. These programs are Corel Ventura, which is the first popular desktop publishing software made available in the late 1980s. Quark Express. This is actually created for Mac users in the 1990s. Adobe PageMaker. This is still available for older devices, but this program is beginning to become obsolete, and some of its features are carried over to the more updated InDesign. Now we move forward to more updated publishing software now, starting with Adobe InDesign, which is PageMaker's successor. InDesign was first released in 1991 and is still used to this day. Microsoft Publisher, on the other hand, is Microsoft's in house software for layouts. Publisher is part of Microsoft Office programs. Now, Canva enters the scene. Canva is an up and coming online design tool that has the capability to create presentations, newsletters, layouts, images, and the likes. Peripherals, especially the mouse. You'll need this. This is a handheld control device that can be wired or wireless, depending on your preferences, and it's used to navigate the computer software. On laptops, there is a built in mouse equivalent called a trackpad. However, a mouse is still highly recommended for maximum movement and convenience when adjusting elements in the working file. And of course, the cherry on top, the printer. This machine produces the final product from the working file on the computer. In desktop publishing, the printer is likely to be powered by electricity, so a lot of cable management is in place if we'll do desktop publishing. Now, it is recommended that a test print should be done so you can see the layout and possible printer errors before mass printing the file. With how technology is evolving and the demand of readers vary in each community, nowadays, digital files are also available online. Readers can now opt to buy or acquire free, physical or digital copies of the reading materials. It all depends on the target audience. And with that, I was able to source several terms and divided them into two groups: device compatibility and formatting. You'll hear these terms mostly when you acquire or check your laptop or desktop computer before you start your layout work. Let's start with terms related to device compatibility. This will make or break your desktop publishing experience. Number one, bottleneck. This is a term that we usually associate with traffic jams, and this term is used in a similar context here. Imagine your computer as a team of people working together to complete a task. Each person, or component, or part in the team has a specific job to do. When one person works slower than the rest of the team, the entire team's progress is slowed down because they have to wait for that person to catch up. In a computer, different parts like the processor or the CPU, the graphics card, RAM, and storage all work together to run programs and for your computer to basically work. If one of these parts is much slower or much more obsolete than the others, it can hold back the overall performance of your computer. This slowdown is what we call bottlenecking. Now, I'll pitch a real world example. Salespeople might convince us to buy cheaper laptops. However, there are instances that these laptops can be much slower than expected due to outdated hardware or excessive workload that one puts in their computer. Now, with that, how do you check the hardware on your computer? Fortunately, there's DXDiag or system information. These are the tools found in Microsoft and Mac powered devices, respectively. You'll be able to check information on your computer's parts. I've also included in this slide how to check your laptop or desktop specs on both Windows and Mac. Bottlenecking, DXDiag, and system information are terms related to specifications or specs. This is what you see, or the overview of your computer parts. You can see these in DXDiag if you use Windows, or system information if you use Mac. Formatting. Some terms that are commonly used in desktop publishing are alignment, assets, and greeking. Alignment is a general term for aligning content to the left, the right, the center, or justified. Assets, meanwhile, are any piece of content that you would be adding in the desktop publishing document. These include text, images, symbols, and the like, while greeking is the process of using symbols or text to represent text templates for the purpose of previews or layouts. Think lorem ipsum. Sounds familiar? Okay. Now, are we all good? I'll be moving forward with the pros and cons of desktop publishing. Let's start with the pros. With desktop publishing, you're able to have complete control over materials preparation. You have the ability to generate text and combine various elements with the same layout. And creators are able to use physical media as desktop publishing enables adaptability to use scanned content as text or image assets. In fact, if you have a laptop, you can take your work everywhere you want to go. However, some of the cons when considering desktop publishing would include: 1. A computer is required to actually get started, and the chances of the digital file to be compromised is quite high, as there's several ways to lose a file, such as a corruption of the file, it may be erased accidentally, and some other troubles that we don't want to happen. And then most of the time, not all editors have access to the latest technology, and we just work with the resources available to us. There may be software compatibility issues, as not all machines are designed to do heavier work, such as desktop publishing, or if the computer can manage to handle these publishing apps, it won't be the most pleasant experience. It won't be optimal. Now, I've prepared a few examples, and I think they show how versatile desktop publishing can be. This first example is a sample layout for Vogue magazine. This next slide features local and regional publications. The one on the left is a local barangay newsletter for a community in Pandi, Bulacan. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. And the sample on the right shows a regional newspaper for Cebu. Desktop publishing takes things to the next level. Unlike conventional methods, we leverage on tech to streamline the layout process, making it more efficient and accurate. The principle of what you see is what you get is core to desktop publishing. And with that, feel free to ask questions or share your thoughts in our forums. For the next part of the Module 6 discussion, I'll be redirecting you to Ms. Ness once again, as she'll navigate you to a deep dive into terms and jargon related to desktop publishing. I look forward once again to a meaningful discourse with everyone. Thank you.